I'll give you a clue. It was Grimsby.
They are pressing quite well. What's happened there? You've got to be joking.
Oh, sorry, I've done it the wrong way around. So I've gone an hour over and I haven't seen it. Sorry.
He must have a horseshoe up his ass.
If we're playing on professional and that's happening for Barcelona...
2 years ago. Sorry about that. I don't know what that was.
I'm sorry, that's just put me off the game. I'm not having that.
Anyway, segue, moving on.
What has that got to do with football? Why is that at a football ground?
Hello and welcome to another Ramble from the Honest Football Podcast, where we bring honesty back to the beautiful game. I'm the OCTOPUS Craig Savage, and joining me as always is the wandering DORK Daniel Cody, and the voice of the people, Charlie Betts.
So great, you obviously alluded to some nicknames there in the intro. Can you please explain yourself? Would you like to elaborate on them?
Yeah, well, people play football with me, they normally call me the Octopus, because I somehow, unlike Wan-Bissaka, he's a spider, I am the
Let's not sugarcoat it, Craig. It's because you often get out of position and are saved by long legs.
No,
Basically,
I don't say out of position, I just
you do. You get out of position more than Magic Bugaris.
I will say in your defence, Craig, that many a time I've seen you be maybe in a challenge that was at least 80-20 in their favour and come out with the ball, and yet to this day I still don't know how that happens, apart from the fact that you've got these octopus legs that sort of wriggle your way through. But to be honest, out of the three nicknames, that was the kindest one.
Yeah, that's the kindest one. And then
should we move on to
What a surprise, it was for himself.
Should we move on to the Wandering Dork?
The Wandering Dork. So, obviously, we all know Daniel's part of the Load FM on
I'm
YouTube.
not part of it, I am it.
He is it.
On a serious note, Dan, obviously a big week for you this week, isn't it?
Yes.
In terms of your channel and all of that.
It came out, well, I booked the next 2 weeks off at work because the Football Manager beta normally comes out 2 weeks before the game.
Right.
And this week they decided to do it almost 3 weeks early, so it was right at the end of a working day, so that was a long evening.
Man.
I didn't know that we even got the announcement to you, said it?
I know, but so two stories for me this weekend. I'll be a very busy boy next
So without, really quickly, without overloading too much stuff that you would also hear on your YouTube channel, what can we expect? What have you released already that we can expect
a Wandering Dork is a play on words of Dorking Wanderers, of course, who will be my long-term
You're not
story.
actually a Wandering Dork.
And then a beta save with Luton Town, and plenty more challenges to come. And then Charlie Betts is the voice of the people, and this has been controversial.
Yeah, the voice of the people. So, Charlie got asked by someone from BBC Three Counties Radio for an interview. Again, not us two.
Can I give this a slight bit of context? So,
no,
I wasn't originally meant to be doing the interview. It was about doctor's appointments. Now, the awkward part
something
of this,
you know nothing about.
No, the awkward part of this is obviously Dan, our very good friend, runs a whole doctor's surgery, and I'm moaning, and of which I am now part of. And I was called on air at the time of the transition between two surgeries. That's one thing I must make clear. I was moaning about my old doctor's surgery, not the one that Dan runs. But
because that is fantastic.
Because it is A1, I will say that for him. But anyway, I was meant to do that. Sorry, my wife was meant to do that, and then her voice went, so I did it and stepped in. Turned out I was a sensation because of the off the back of that, over the summer holidays, Look East, which is the local BBC TV channel, news programme, texted me and said, would you mind coming on if we came around to your house and interviewed you to elaborate on your radio interview?
And then they saw your face and decided...
No.
I love how
in fairness, I thought no, because they must have got it, because obviously when believe it or not, it's not as technical when you speak on radio. I was literally on my phone, talking through my phone to the radio.
But if you'd have done the Look East one, you could have had at the bottom of the screen Charlie Betts, presenter of the Honest Football Podcast, talking about GP appointments.
Charlie Betts, voice of the people.
The thing is, off the back of that then, I knocked them back. Because I didn't really want to go that far. I mean, I didn't completely believe in everything I was saying on the radio, but I was sort of doing it to fill a gap.
You just want to go on ITV.
You're an egomaniac.
Basically, yeah. I've also done bigger things. I was on Crime Watch in front of 1.5 million people about 6 years ago, but we'll not talk about that now.
What crime did you commit?
No.
You got arrested.
I did, yeah.
I remember watching it at work.
So basically, they'd come to the school I was working at the time to show the kids how to do forensic science, and I'd stolen some sweets, and they tracked my footprints and other bits.
So you were actually...
I was actually on crime.
It was, yeah.
I famously said the word gobble because I panicked because it was live TV. This was live at 9 in the morning. And I said that I gobbled all of the sweets, and then I got about 1,500 texts from my mates going, "Gobbled? Who says gobbled?" But,
nothing can go wrong.
It's on YouTube somewhere. I'll have to try and dig it out.
And this is why we don't live stream.
No. So there was that. So,
but we might in the future.
But then I got a phone call again on Wednesday to say, there's a new story about doctor's surgeries, not the same story we've done before. What's your opinion on it? Would you mind coming on the radio to talk about it? So inadvertently, the two stories are completely unrelated. One was about how to get an appointment with doctors. This one was about the possibility of the surgery charging for appointments, etc.
Which we're not going to discuss.
No, but the point being is they're two completely unrelated stories. But for some reason they contacted me again. So I gave myself the title, The Voice of the People. Because if they want someone to talk about the doctor's surgeries from a patient's perspective, I am your man. So if you want to get out there...
So Dr. Surgery, he won't talk about Brexit,
No.
and he can barely talk about football. He is the voice of the people.
And he's also a teacher that can't talk about teaching.
But no, that's that. In a football-related note, I want to quickly share this story before we move on to the big stuff. So, at the time of recording, this is a Friday, on the Thursday, I had a school match, okay? Now, school football is not glamorous the way it used to be. I was the only person out there from my school, so I had to obviously run the game and referee it at the same time.
Right.
Got a fantastic 4-3 win, won't go through corner routines, etc. But yeah. The point being, at one point, my school had the ball in the opposition's half and had taken a shot. Now, the defender for the other school has put his hands up by his head. For those of you who can't see it, basically his elbows...
Well, the people that are listening on Spotify...
His elbows are by his ears.
Hands directly up.
Above his head. Now, from my perspective, it looked like it hit his arms. And he's pretty much caught the ball. But it's sort of hit him around this area here.
Right.
So I've blown for a penalty. It's quite awkward giving a penalty for your own team anyway when you're refereeing. It's awkward enough as it is. Anyway, the kid sort of turned away, hand on his sort of face.
Vintage you, this. Vintage you.
Yeah, you can see where this is going. So I thought, no, he's doing that as a thing to try and get out of saying it hit him in the face. So I give him the penalty.
So not only have you been biased towards your school, you've also flagrantly disregarded a head injury.
Nice word.
So the kid
Nice
was
word.
stood up, just walking towards his teacher. So at that point, I've set up for the penalty. So I've said, penalty. The boy's about to run up. The kid whose arms, inverted commas, it hits, turned around, has got a massive nosebleed where it's hit him straight in the face rather than his hands. So I gave a penalty to a boy who got hit in the face with a giant nosebleed because it's obviously hit him straight in his boat and it caused his nose to bleed. And I thought it genuinely was a penalty. The justice of all of it is the school that I work for, they missed the penalty. I would like to say deliberately, but he didn't. But I'd already given the penalty. I could have hardly reversed the decision. So yeah.
So basically, what you're trying to say is, one, that you copied what Chris Smalling did for Rome in the Europa League 2 weeks ago, and two, you needed VAR.
I did need VAR, to be honest. But
Which
it
probably
like,
wouldn't have done anything.
It looked like it hit his arms.
Well, you won't be able to go and see the screen.
Obviously, it looked like it hit his arms, but then when the kid turned around and basically had a bloody nose, it obviously hit him straight in the face instead of his arms.
So for you, who spend every week after these episodes playing Pro Evolution Soccer 2 and complaining that Craig is all about winning, and you were that determined to get your school a victory.
I swear, on a serious note, I
know
swear...
you're new to the job, but it's not that important.
I swear, as I sit here, I honestly thought it hit his arms. I mean, what I wanted to say to him... I know it's unfortunate.
What is his arms doing up there?
Hey, that's exactly what I wanted to say to him. You're 11 years old, you should know better than that.
As a football manager, I would be questioning why his arms are up.
Let us know on Twitter, @HonestFootball3. Do you believe Charlie's explanation?
And we start off with a managerial casualty in the Championship, and the one that we've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks should have happened has finally happened, and Nathan Jones has been sacked from Stoke City.
At the time of recording, this has obviously happened this afternoon, so, breaking news in our end.
Yes.
I don't know.
The snake
has
gone.
He's been Weber.
I suppose the question I'm going to pose to you two really quickly, is he a bad manager overnight? And if take away the emotional side of it just for a minute, is he a bad manager overnight? Or did he have a toxic club that was probably going to head that way regardless of who took charge, unless they were a huge name?
I think with whoever took over Stoke after Gary Rowett, is always going to be a hard place to turn up.
I understand for you two particularly there's an emotional attachment, but if you remove
No, there's no doubting he's a very good young coach and manager. I said at the very time he left Luton for Stoke, I don't begrudge him going to a bigger club. The way he did it was stupid. Luton fans will never forgive that. But the biggest thing I didn't get is why Stoke. Because all of the values they've held for so long are the complete opposite in footballing philosophy to what Nathan Jones does. And it didn't make any sense. He tried the diamond at the start of the season and was forced to change it because it didn't work. They won a couple of games in a different shape.
He didn't have to play.
He had the transfer window. He's back to replace the whole squad.
Yeah.
And I said it from the start. It's just a really strange move. I couldn't understand. As we know, if he'd stayed at Luton and got them up, he would have been managing the Premier League for Brighton now.
Yeah,
if he'd
exactly.
been a youth coach and assistant manager there, he would have been their first choice.
So I've got his records for Luton and for Stoke. So at Luton he had 170 games, 87 wins, 46 draws and 37 defeats, which was a record of 51%.
Which is very good.
Compared to Stoke, where he's had 38 games, only 6 wins, 15 draws and 17 losses, which is 15%.
Yeah.
Which, the complete contrast from both clubs. I know obviously he had Luton where it's League 2 and League 1, but for someone, obviously for Stoke, it was never going to go, it was never going to overturn straight away. The record was always going to drop.
Before Dan talks about it, because he knows a lot more about it than me, for me, removing the emotional side of it, I feel like I feel sorry for him because he's a good manager, and I feel like he was very naive to take that particular job.
He was naive.
Financially, I get that. I imagine, I don't know, I can't say, but the incentive of going from Luton, with all due respect,
his payoff's estimated to be $500,000 to put it in perspective.
Yeah, compared to what but like you say, if it had been just a bit more patient, he would have got to move somewhere. Even if it wasn't in the Premier League or Brighton, there'd have been other
a championship club that plays in that style.
Yeah, that he could probably have a lot more of an impact on. Stoke was on the way down as it was.
To be honest, the thing where I lose sympathy for him is I believe there was an element of arrogance there in taking that job. I'm flying with Luton, so I can do it anywhere.
Yeah.
Partly not understanding and taking aside my bias to the club. The squad at Luton has a very special character at the moment, and there are certain clubs that have that. So like Leicester at the moment, the last few years, that's always been the case at Leicester. But in terms of taking that job, I feel sorry for him in the sense that it was never going to work from the start.
No.
But then why be stupid enough to take it when you had a brilliant job? Because it was only for the money, as we said. There can't have been another good reason. So
it could have been football reasons.
But just when you say that, just play devil's advocate ever so slightly, and I'm only doing this, to give both sides of the argument. I agree with what you're saying about footballing wise, and they were probably on a down. But you look at the players on paper, Butland, Ince, people like that. It's not like he was taking over a shit squad.
No.
I know that people like Croucher who obviously are going out the door and things like that, but they weren't the worst team that there's ever
on paper,
relegated.
On paper, it's a great side, but you don't play on paper.
I agree. What I'm saying is
the thing is, that group of players wasn't really a group of players.
No, but that's the point I'm saying. But if I was him, I'm not saying I agree with him. But if I was offered a job and saw those list of names on paper, I would probably be quite intrigued. Say, do you know what? It might be. I reckon I could get them in. It's
one of the things that
any
happens.
System that will work. Any system wouldn't work for that group of players. Any system would just wouldn't
work. But would you only know that once you were in the club, or do you think it was quite clear and obvious from the outside that was always going to happen? Whoever took over.
Well, you look at it when he joined the club in the first place. Look where they were on the table. If they were like middle of the top half the championship, just before the playoffs, I can understand. Yeah, I can understand why you're going there, but. Stoke at the time were mid to bottom half table, not doing anything, and struggling, and they just recently got relegated.
Yeah.
So, I can understand. But the thing is, he's had the summer break. Obviously, he brought in a load of new players, some really good players, and once again, it's not clicked.
The biggest problem with clubs like that, and Sunderland had it a couple of years before, when they come down from the Premier League. And particularly in Sunderland's case, because they have financial trouble as well, and Stoke probably trying to save a little bit on the wage budget.
Well, it's still payment.
Well, but the problem is that they have all these players coming down because don't forget they were an established Premier League side. They were a surprise relegation
for a few years.
So they had players like Butland that you mentioned, probably on the best part of $100,000 a week.
Yeah,
he was active in England international, number 2 goalkeeper.
I'd be surprised if it was 100.
It wouldn't have been far off. He was England's more. He was touted to be England's.
If he's on less than $70-80 a week in the Premier League, I'll be shocked. But the point is, when they come down, and that squad that Jones is trying to build in the summer, where they're all the sort of younger, hungrier footballers, whatever, they're on somewhere between $5 and $20 grand a week, most of them. That disparity in the dressing room is going to be a huge problem. And it happened at Sunderland where they had the players coming down on $60 grand a week. You saw that Jack Ross, when he came in, the first thing he did was started releasing them at Sunderland, like the Ndongs and people like that.
Yeah.
Because it was just poisonous in the club. Because you've got these guys coming in their Ferraris going, here we go, I'm getting $60 grand a week and I'm not even on the bench. And these kids on $5 grand a week, oh no, it's still a very decent amount of money, but in comparison, well, I'm doing a better job than you and I'm getting this. Maybe I don't have to work that hard.
Yeah, I think
it's something that happens so often when clubs come down. Happened at Villa, didn't it? The first year they came down as well.
Good news for you, Cody, is Rory Delap, Kevin Russell and Andy Quee are taking charge for the first team game on Monday against West Brom.
Which means we'll see the return of the very, very long throw because Rory Delap will make sure that happens.
Absolutely.
So are they already part of the coaching setup there?
I think they're already at the club anyway, but obviously Jones, Paul Hart and Joaquin Gomez, the first team coach, they're all gone. So
what a shame, eh?
What a shame.
Can I make a prediction? Nathan Jones, next Portsmouth manager.
Do you think? That's a good shout. Wow. That's a good shout.
Do you think Kenny Jackson's play out then, is he?
He's struggling. He's
well, Hearts are looking for a new manager.
Yeah, Hearts are looking for a new
manager. Craig Levein got sacked.
He's still in the club though.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I was going to talk about that later, but yeah.
The reason I say Portsmouth is because of Paul Hart as well. Obviously, has previous attachments and probably still has a.
I don't think Paul Hart will want to go down. He wouldn't go,
but he'll certainly give Nathan Jones a reference.
South Coast as well, which is obviously, I assume Nathan Jones must, obviously the Brighton, that sort of thing. He's going to want to probably stay this part of the country, isn't he?
Who do you think will take over from Stoke? Tony
whoever it is, I was going to say it has to be either a well-established ex or current Premier League.
I think now the United job's probably off the table. Sam Allardyce.
It'll be someone like
I don't think United jobs are available now.
But I don't think anyone but someone like him or a Pulis can turn that club around. And I think that
Well, they tried the footballing route twice.
Exactly.
It hasn't worked. Rowett and
Yeah.
Jones.
And I think it's such the expectation from the fans, the expectation now from pretty much every other club in that league. You know, the only people who could turn around is someone who's got a big enough experience and ego, and that probably is someone like an Allardyce or a Pulis. I can't really, outside of those two, I can't see.
I can't see anyone else. Yeah.
One of the old merry-go-round.
Yeah.
David Moyes.
Yeah.
Moisey, yeah.
How much longer was Woodgate giving me a job for as well? So that could.
That surprised me,
go for
Woodgate.
But yeah.
But United managers, it's a shame that. Well, I say it's a shame they have to go. Fuck 'em.
Oh no, positive
anyway.
note, Craig. You want to talk to us about after a week, pretty much. I know we don't talk about Premier League football, but after a week of high-scoring football matches in the last 7 days, you wanted to go on that sort of theme. So obviously we had the Leicester game on the Friday
Yeah,
night.
so I watched the
Then
Leicester game.
midweek you had the Arsenal-Liverpool Carabao Cup.
Yes, it finished 5-1.
Bonanza. Yeah.
Crazy game.
And you want to go down that route and talk about a few
Yeah.
minutes,
Also, quickly, we'll first talk about that 5-all game. How ridiculous that was.
Yeah.
For an Arsenal point of view, is to go 3-1 up, and then 4-2 up, and 5-4 up, and then lose it. It's
Imagine
ridiculous.
scoring 5 goals on the road and not winning it.
Yeah,
No,
not
no,
winning it,
it's
and losing
crazy.
penalty shootout as well. That's just a double whammy.
Well,
But
it was quite interesting because
it's
Liverpool
interesting.
pretty much tried to lose the game and
Yeah,
they've still gone through.
they've still gone through. One, they've still gone through, and two,
And then after the game, said,
might not
is there
even-
any chance we can get the Arsenal through instead?
yeah, because that didn't make any sense. But things with that, EFL surely must have known as a random possibility that Liverpool might actually get through to the quarterfinal of the
That would
EFL
require
Cup.
quite a lot of
And
meticulous
they knew,
planning now.
but the thing is, they knew. That's not the point. But they knew that they're going to be in the Club World Cup in that time.
True. No, I agree with you. I mean, Liverpool's fixtures, I think, is 9 in the next.
9 in
December.
9 in December, and it's every 3 days or something like that.
But yeah,
who cares about
the
Liverpool? That's
principle
their
being
own
is
problem.
that, you know, it's a bit annoying because I agree with what you're saying about the League Cup. I'm going to flip it and say, should Liverpool have entered knowing that there's a possibility they could have got there, rather than taking the place of another
Well,
lower league team who could have got a bit of
As
money
we
out of it.
mentioned, this problem all could have been solved if Liverpool were dealt with appropriately if playing an eligible player.
Well,
Which
yeah,
again,
yes.
I'm now going to have the suspicion maybe was done deliberately.
Yeah. If I was the EFL, I'd be kicking myself for not putting
The
that, but yeah.
the one thing I would say with Liverpool, based on that lineup they played in that game, I would argue 7 or 8 of them won't be in that 20-man squad to go to the Club World Cup anyway.
But the thing is that
He's already
I
said
think
that he
it's
won't
already
leave
been
the squad
scheduled like
behind,
the EFL Cup game. It one, and then the next day is their Club World Cup game. So they've got 2 games technically in 2
But
days.
he's saying, because there was, I think there was a discussion that he could leave a squad behind and someone
an
else
assistant
would run
manager.
it. Yeah, but
We might
they're
have the
not-
under
they're not
23s
gonna
manager in charge.
do that.
Anyway,
But yeah, go
well, obviously we're talking about high games and
on. High scoring games.
high
right?
scoring games. high scoring games. Obviously we saw Leicester.
Yeah,
Funny enough,
I don't
think
like
it
seeing
was-
that. Don't like
I
seeing
think
that.
funny enough, a few days before that, but not it's gone unnoticed. Doncaster beat Southend 7-1.
7-1.
They was Sol Campbell then manager of Southend.
Can I
Obviously
just
not
point
Sol
out,
Campbell's fault.
because the problem, and that's why I'm glad you mentioned that, because all of the news articles after, Sol Campbell, Southend lose 7-1 to Doncaster. The poor bloke was appointed 2 hours before and sitting in the stands. Had nothing to do with it whatsoever. And
Yeah.
they've put in some decent performances since, despite losing.
A hell of a job he's got on his hands now.
He's
isn't
got a
it?
massive job.
Yeah, but we said the same last year.
Yeah.
And
no, I agree.
McAfield's still not paying their players.
You wonder how many more of those
And
he's got to
Southend
take.
not far off that either.
No, true.
You wonder how many more of those jobs he's got to take before he gets a big one. Should he have held on for Portsmouth?
And he's played for Pompey.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Should he have held on for that?
Yeah.
Anyway, go on, Craig. Sorry.
So I'll give you some high scoring games from the EFL, League 1, League 2 in the Championship. So start with last season, West Brom. We talked about West Brom v QPR last season.
Yeah.
Because I said Steve McLaren was surely getting the boot by then. 7-1.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That was it. Yeah.
A crazy game in League 1. Sunderland 4, Coventry 5.
Remember that one?
Remember that one very well.
That had a big impact on Luton's season.
Also last season in League 2, Mansfield beat Oldham 6-1.
Yes.
Right.
So season before that,
Oh, this season.
last season.
Oh, but this
Oh,
season.
this season, sorry.
I was gonna
Yes,
say,
it was
I-
just recently. That was
I did
recent
the
as
thing
well.
about the head injury in the game.
Yes, that was recent as well. Obviously, the season before that,
I mean,
Villa.
that's Charlie style stats from you.
Yeah, sorry.
You're better
I
than
wrote
that,
it down as well. I wrote it down.
You're
this
better than
season.
that.
Just believe in yourself, mate.
Villa 5, Forest 5 last season as
Yes.
well.
Oh yeah. Was that didn't someone hit an absolute worldie?
John McGinn, wasn't it?
John
John
McGinn.
McGinn.
Yeah.
Was that the Worldie game? John
I can't
McGinn?
remember.
No, that was Sheffield Wednesday.
Oh,
John
sorry,
McGinn,
right.
on the volley.
Yeah. Go on. Yeah.
17-18 season. Luton obviously in League 2 at the time. 8-2 against Yeovil.
First day of
7-1
the
against
season.
Stevenage.
8-2, yeah. I
7-0
forgot about the 8-2. Yeah.
against Cambridge. Just a few games. Funny enough, League One wise, they don't really have high scoring games. In recent seasons, I'm going back to 2015-16, they don't really have high scoring games, which is quite surprising compared to like the Championship, where 17-18 Fulham beat Burton Albion 6-0, and Bristol City and Hull drew 5-5 as well. So why is 5-5 such a team to have a very popular scoreline?
Australia, obviously, I know going back a bit further, Sir Alex Ferguson's last game.
So Alex Ferguson's last game was a 5-5.
There's plenty of, I guess the higher levels, you get a few more of them games. So like that West Brom United game, there was nothing on it. You get more of those.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the teams in the middle of the Championship towards the end of the year, you get a bit more of that, which is great.
I'm going to give you some more high scoring games. Norwich 7, Reading 1 in 2016-17 season. QPR 0, Newcastle 6. In League One in the 17-18 season, Oxford 0, Wigan 7.
Lovely.
Here's a funny one for you. Like in 2016-17 season, 3 games ended 6-1 in League 2. That weird. Like I don't.
Yeah. 6-1.
How often do you find 6-1? Yeah. So obviously Cambridge beat Morecambe 7-0, and you can remember the famous one on the opening day of League One. Norwich won Colchester 7.
Oh, and then Paul Lambert moved clubs from Colchester to Norwich just after and took them up.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
So
I will say though, just to flip back slightly, how often have you gone to or been involved in a game where you said, do you know what, we could have had 7 or 8 today? And I think sometimes you get those days, you've had that many chances, and you've hit the post, or you think, oh, we've hit the post twice, hit the bar, whatever. On some days it hits the bar and goes in, and some of those days everything just goes.
I think that's a really
I don't know if
thing on FIFA.
But no, what I mean is in those sort of situations, sometimes I don't think you create necessarily more chances than what you would have done in a game that you won 2-1. Yeah, you just end up putting.
I guess I'm a bit spoiled because I guess obviously you've just started a favourite game series, and I'll be one of the upcoming episodes for that.
Yeah,
is that when we were talking about my football history with Luton, there's been so many 6, 7s and 8s through the leagues. It's been brilliant.
Especially in recent times. Yeah. But I think, where's the next high-scoring game going to come from? Well, the thing is, I'll say it now when at the time we're recording on a Friday night, and we'll get to Saturday's game, and then someone will score 7.
I hate to say it, but I think it might be a Premier League game. I think Norwich could have a big whopping coming on somewhat because they are struggling defensively.
Obviously, going back, I know we're not the Premier League podcast as much, but that Leicester game was just
that was the start.
ridiculous.
I don't like seeing that. Even if you're on the other end of a 5-0, it's horrible. As a player, as a fan, it's the worst feeling. Like, a few times you go, like, I'll be honest, as a home fan, watching Man City come to your ground and beat you like 5-0, it is by the 4th goal, you're just like, I've had enough. Like, and goodness knows what it must be like as a player. We've all probably played in games where we've been 3, 4, 5-0 down.
Well, I had a Sunday game last week. I started as a sub, and by the time I came on the pitch, I was 5-0 down.
Yeah, it's just I don't understand.
I had a school game, completely off topic, in high school, about 13, and the person who was supposed to be in goal got detention 20 minutes before the end of the school day. So they had to get, we got one of the nerdy kids. I'm trying to be politically correct, couldn't find the word. It was about 5'4" in a full-size goal, and we lost 15-1. and the opposition had 16 shots, and the only reason one of them didn't go in is because it bounced off him and the rebound went in. He did everything in that game. Conceded a back pass, a corner went straight in, a couple of penalties, a free kick, absolutely everything in that game.
To sum it up for me, I don't mind seeing one team score 7 goals as long as the other team score maybe 4 or 5. I don't mind seeing like a 7-4 or something like that. I hate seeing 7-0, 7-1s. I think it's horrible. It's like watching, when you watch boxing and you see a bloke who's on the ropes, he's going to go down any second. It's horrible. You just see him being toyed with.
I think it's harder if you're a home fan and you lose.
Yeah, it's just not nice to watch. It is, honestly, it's horrible. But yeah, no. So hopefully,
as a fan, what can you do?
Well, nothing. You've got to sit there, grin, and.
Would you go?
There's nothing you can do, is there?
Would you go home early? Would you leave the ground?
No, I wouldn't leave the ground, but
you want to appreciate equally as much as I guess for us it's different because we're football fans, not just loyal to our club, but general football fans. We'd go to neutral games. We'll have that moment and say, well, actually, I'm going to see a moment of history here.
That's true.
I'm seeing something quite special, even if it's not from my side.
And now it is time for Charlie's Tales of the Unexpected. I've changed the name again because we've been going for about 2 weeks.
He's titled it with his own name now.
I've titled it with my own name.
The voice of the people.
I'm the voice of the people. No, I sound very arrogant, but I'm not. So
You very much are.
Craig has been begging me to do a bit more of a recent Tale of the Unexpected, and I've been batting him off because I've had some good ones to get out. But now, Craig, it is time for one that you're going to really enjoy because it's from the 1990s.
It's still 20 years ago. But
In particular, we're going back to January the 27th, 1994. Now we're going back to the Caribbean Cup qualification. This is brilliant. It's the most niche game. Okay. Now the Caribbean Cup used to be called the Shell Cup. All right.
I remember that.
So, obviously, some of the smaller nations had to qualify for the tournament. Now, to give you a bit of context, the people who organised the competition experimented a bit with the rules to draw up a bit of interest in it. So, I've got to read out a couple of rules to give the game I'm going to talk to you about some massive, massive context, okay? So, what they had was, if the game was level at full time, okay, it went to a golden goal, which doesn't sound weird. Yeah. But, for some reason, not only won the match, it counted as double, which is important, okay?
So 6 points if you won.
No, the goal counted as double. So if the score is 1-1 and you score in golden goal,
So
it goes to 3-1. Because the reason being,
For goal difference.
for goal difference, because the group stages, there were no ties, there was no draws.
Taking aside, that's generally a really good idea to make extra time more interesting.
Oh, exactly. Well, this is where it gets very, very...
extra time.
No, very,
Yeah,
very
but it's
interesting.
like-
So they didn't want draws in the qualifiers, okay? So goal difference is of huge importance. So, we're going back to this competition. Goals count double in extra time, really
There's a bit
important.
fast going on, yeah.
Exactly. So, we're going to when Barbados played Grenada, okay?
Big game.
Well, it is a big game because
massive game.
both teams
Free
could
Jason
qualify.
Roberts.
Both teams... Both Barbados and Grenada could qualify for the Shell Cup, but on the one condition that Barbados didn't win by... they need to win by
By
two
two big goals.
clear goals, okay?
Oh, that's a joke.
So,
I wonder
obviously...
if Richard Edgehill scored.
As long as Grenada stayed within a goal of Barbados, they were through, okay? Going into the last game. Barbados racing to a 2-0 lead.
Oh.
So as it stands at that current point, Barbados are through, okay? In the 83rd minute, Grenada pull one back. So now, obviously, the 2-gap goal difference has gone. Grenada are currently going through,
So
okay?
they had to defend, really.
So they had to defend, exactly. So Barbados threw everything at them, but they couldn't score. 2 minutes from the end, the manager had the great idea of, if we can level the game to make it 2-2, it will go to extra time. That gives us half an hour then to get the 2 goals. Well, but remember, the 2 goals can come from 1 goal. Because it's the golden goal.
Yeah, I can understand
So then you've got a team that deliberately wants to go to extra time.
So, exactly. So what happened was then, Grenada got wind of this through listening to the instructions and realised that Barbados were going to try and score an own goal.
Yeah.
So we had the unusual situation
whoa,
where,
wait,
hang on, wait, where Grenada were defending both goals.
So let me clear this up for
Yeah.
Craig. Barbados were leading.
They were 2-0 up,
Yeah,
then
but-
it goes to 2-1.
Yeah, but Barbados needed the 2 goal cushion.
Yeah. So Barbados are winning by 1 goal. Right, they've got 2 minutes to score another goal to go 2 goals ahead. But they say if we let in one, then we've got half an hour to score 1 goal, which will count as a 2-0 win.
Rather than
Or a
having 2
3-2
minutes
win.
to score the 1 goal, they can give themselves
but-
half an hour to score
Right.
the 1 goal.
So, you said Barbados were defending. Sorry,
No.
Grenada were defending both goals.
And well, they weren't at first. They weren't at first. Grenada was just defending their goal because Barbados had 7 minutes to get a
So
goal.
why did Barbados need to score a goal?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Get into this, Craig. So there was a 1 goal gap, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they needed to win by 2 clear goals. So at 2-1, they weren't through, were they?
Oh, well, they winning 2-1.
Yes, they were winning 2-1.
Oh, right, yeah, right. Okay.
I'm gonna have to
Yes.
fucking edit
Craig
that.
never listens to your
No,
Tales of
I-
the Unexpected.
no.
He's watching Dundee, Vic Morton.
Yeah, sorry, carry on, sorry.
So,
I know.
so then Grenada obviously had to then go and defend both goals.
Right.
So they're trying to stop Barbados scoring in their goal and equally trying to stop them scoring an own goal.
Yeah.
So you've got a team who are trying to, and a team who's trying to defend both goals, and a team who's trying to score in both goals. Also score in both goals. Barbados managed, and you can watch the footage on YouTube. It's absolutely hilarious. Barbados managed to get a throw it back to the defender, who wallops it into his own goal, taking the game to extra time. Obviously now that means that then currently 2-2, but it gives Barbados half an hour to get 2 goals.
Or 1 goal that counts as 2.
1 goal that counts as 2. Okay.
Right.
So we're now going into extra time. So basically the crux of the story is, can Barbados get that winning golden goal to put them through with 2 goals left? Well, obviously Grenada are defending for their lives. It doesn't really matter whether they score or not because they're currently through. Unfortunately, 5 minutes into extra time, Barbados scored and they managed to get through and qualify for the Shell Cup, where they finished bottom of their group and didn't win a single point. But the moral of the story is, at one point, for about 6 minutes of a football match, There was Grenada defending both goals. Barbados trying to score in both goals. With one goal at either end, either kept the tie alive for them or put them through. So just to finish it off, just get the feelings of the managers after the game. James Clarkson, who was the Grenadan manager, said, "I feel cheated. The person who came up with these rules must be a candidate for the madhouse. The game should never have been played with so many players running around the field confused. Our players did not even know which direction to attack, our goal or their goal. I've never seen this happen before. In football, you are supposed to score against the opponents to win, not for them." Which basically sums up the game beautifully. That to have a football match where you've got two teams trying to defend a goal, one team trying to defend both goals, and another team trying to score in both goals because of some stupid rule. It's baffling. It is baffling, but hopefully that situation will never happen again. However, just to give you a little bit of a teaser, the next 3 or 4 weeks I've got a theme through my Tales of the Unexpected. Okay, so next week is an equally baffling football match that you're going to hear about.
And now it's time for any other business, and we start off with more VAR controversy.
Oh, do we have to?
Yeah, because VAR is shit.
That's not true.
No, some bits are good VAR. Like, for example, Bertrand red card. That was correct.
Can we make a clearing statement here? And I defy anyone to argue with me, okay? VAR is good. The people using it are morons.
Yeah, I think that's the best way of summing it up.
But it's still shit. So Germany, I can't remember the game because I don't have my notes here because I completely forgot. But the ball went off for a guy shot, went off for a goal. Went so far wide.
It was in the Bundesliga 2, wasn't it?
Well, you know your German football, so you should know. Ball went wide of the target, and
it was
one of the substitutes.
Yeah,
just past the 6-yard box. And one of the substitutes who was warming up behind the goal stopped the ball from going out. Going out of play.
Well, he stopped the ball to give it back to the keeper,
Yeah.
but
However,
about half the ball hadn't crossed the line, which is what the problem is.
To give a bit of backstory to it, he's a new signing, isn't he? And he hadn't played a single minute, and that's technically the only touch he's had on the pitch since he signed for them, and he didn't come on in that game either.
Well, the funny thing about that is also we had the discussion back in last season about the IFAB rule changes, and IFAB introduced this rule at that time. So
we failed to mention.
And we didn't even know. Well, I didn't know. That was no. I don't think anyone knows.
It wasn't a headline, was it?
No. So VAR had a look at it and gave the team the penalty and booked the substitute.
So I have problems on both sides of this, Craig. So my problem on the normal side of it, as the other two are engrossed in Dundee v Greenock Morton, the problem I have from the player side is what a fucking stupid thing to do. Just let the ball go out of play. Yeah. Sorry, there's the explicit on the episode. And secondly, is in terms of VAR, it's there to ASOP clear and obvious errors, which is fine. And yes, rule books are there for silly things and whatever.
That's not clear and obvious.
However, forget the clear and obvious. Forget if in the rule book it is a clear error and whatever. The problem I have is the ball was rolling out for a goal kick. Let's be honest, the ball was basically over the line. It was just trying to give the keeper the ball back.
Yeah.
Common sense has to come above rules. And I teach this as whenever I'm training anyone in any role in a workplace, this is the rules 95% of the time, but I expect the last 5% to see common sense. And that is never applied now. It's like hiding behind a rule book is stupidity.
My criticism over it is, why are they warming up so close to the goal?
Yeah, but even that
it's something that can't happen in England, isn't it?
No.
But that side, I just feel like I thought VAR, the idea of it was supposed to be used sparingly, as in you sent off the wrong man, or which happened with West Brom on the weekend, didn't it? I believe did the referee send off the wrong?
Yeah, referee sent the wrong man.
That's where VAR is obviously.
Yeah, but there was no VAR.
No, but the point I'm making is that's where it should be used. Or did he punch him? That sort of thing. Not did his foot go a yard on the pitch when the ball had gone 5 yards wide. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like that's
too needy. It's too needy.
Well, it's completely unnecessary.
That's changing the course of football for an incident that otherwise wouldn't have been an issue whatsoever.
It's not an issue. It's not an issue regardless. The ball's going.
Well, it is an issue because they've given a penalty now and it's changed the course of the game.
But it's not. It wasn't harming anyone. The shot's gone so far wide. It's not like he's deliberately run across the goal and blocked it on the line.
There's a lot of wrong on both sides. Why on earth were you there doing that? And why on earth would you use VAR for that?
There's one way of solving this, and that is to completely get rid of the thing until we can come up with some sort of way that it doesn't piss everyone off and ruin the game of football.
It's funny how
I think just bin it off, please.
Do you know
for the
how
love
funny?
of God.
It's funny that we're talking more about incidents this season with VAR
Yeah.
than last season without VAR.
We shouldn't. In my opinion, we shouldn't even know that it was there. And the fact is, at the minute, you know it's there every single minute, nearly of every single game.
The
VAR
people manning
is supposed to-
VAR at the moment are as reliable as a political party.
Yeah, exactly. You gonna add something? Or
No,
not?
I was, but not now because it's pointless.
Oh, okay, right. Moving on, just really, really quickly. I wanted to talk to, Hearts have just, they've sacked Craig Levine. I wanted to get your perspective on this. Really
As
quickly.
manager and director of
And but they've kept him on as a youth development.
His
technical-
contract runs out at the end of the season.
Part of me would be a bit cynical and think, is he going to give his best to this new role that he's got in developing the youth systems, coaching and all of that? They're basically like a technical director of the youth thing now.
Well, maybe
he's
they're-
gone from first team manager and director of football to basically someone who's probably quite far down the pecking order.
I'd argue the opposite way round. I'd argue that's a big thing for him to say. You've got to love football to do that.
Yeah, for him, yeah, but I suppose he's being paid to do that, and I imagine he must still be on the same contract as what he was.
I doubt that.
Well, I don't see how they could do that.
Well,
could they?
What's the point changing his contract when his contract runs out at the end of the year?
But they can't. We're surely not going to change his contract.
that's what I'm saying.
It'd be paid as a first team manager to essentially be 8th, 9th, 10th man
But
down.
he is a very experienced manager.
Yeah.
He's a good coach. So
I just
have
think
no
it's
problem.
bizarre. I just think it's such a
And
bizarre.
I watched the game they played. Was it Rangers on the TV the week before?
Yeah.
Rangers or Celtic. They were really good.
Yeah. Well, they've got Rangers on this Sunday as the time of recording in I think it's the semi-final of the League Cup or something like that. So sacking him just before that. Look, obviously, it
Well, they
wasn't
lost.
working
They
out
lost.
well for him.
They lost the other day.
I just feel like if you put it in,
sorry, to St Johnston.
if you put it in our jobs, it'd be like us going from the role we're doing now to somewhere. I'm not going to name them because it's not fair to do it, but to a fairly.
It's essentially us going to be an apprentice, isn't it?
Yeah, almost. Yeah. Like, would you honestly give your best to the role? Would they just if they're going to pay him anyway? Would it have been better just to put him on gardening leave? I don't know. But yeah, that's a bit of a bizarre thing.
Can I bring a returning feature back, which is
Go for it.
my favourite transfer of the week?
Yeah, go for it.
Obviously, we've had some bizarre ones in the last few weeks, the likes of Gary Hooper turning up in various countries across the world.
Yeah.
But this one relates to a former Premier League player who was famous for being turned for one of the most famous Premier League goals.
Go on in.
And that man is Nikos Dabizas.
Oh, okay, yes.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen this. Yeah,
Not Nikos Dabizas himself, but
right.
his son.
I was gonna say he's not come back out.
No, his son has joined a club in Newcastle. And the club are called Newcastle Benfield.
Okay, so not Newcastle is
Not
in
Newcastle.
No, non-league side, non-league.
How far down the pyramid are we talking?
We are talking step 4, I believe. It is the Northern League Division 1, and yes, step 4 of the non-league pyramid. So he goes straight into the squad for, I believe, an FA Vase or FA Trophy qualifier
probably.
this week.
One last thing from me is obviously we know we love the EFL trophy, the Leeson.com trophy, as it's well known.
Craig is being sarcastic for those of you who can't
Yeah.
tell.
And Ajax have got a ban.
This really pissed me off. This is ruining football.
So,
ruining football.
His stories. Ajax have got a ban from UEFA over fan trouble, so they can't go to watch them.
Chelsea, is it?
Watch Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Right.
However, 2,500 Ajax fans are still coming over to England, but they're going to watch Leyton Orient.
Yeah.
They're
I
obviously
assume that's probably only other club playing in London at the
at
time.
that time
Which is brilliant.
in the Leeson.com trophy. However, the Football League have decided to switch the days.
Why though?
Why? I haven't got a clue.
But that's deliberately taking money and support
Yeah.
out of their game. I can't work it out.
And especially, I mean, in the politest way possible, the leasing.com games are hardly ever, well, not hardly, they never sell out fixtures at the best of times, are they? So 2,000 probably is about 1,995 people more than what they would have got for a normal leasing.com game. Do you know what I mean?
They're playing Brighton under 21s. It's not like Brighton are going to bring a load of people up.
Oh, exactly. You're not even going to have an away end, are you?
It's something. Do you know, it's one of those stories that just made me really sad and just thought football is now not a fans' game.
No, gosh, no. It's been taken out.
However, I did see a tweet. It said, "Thanks very much, Met Police. We're now going to spend an extra day. We're going to have the first day in the pub watching the Ajax Chelsea, and the second day we're still going to watch Leyton Orient the Brighton home
fantastic.
outcome."
I hope they do.
I hope they do, because that would be one. Obviously, it will add some atmosphere because obviously Ajax fans. I think Ajax fans will respect
Yeah.
Leyton Orient.
you know what the sad
They'll
thing
respect
is?
the ground. They won't tear it up.
Do you know what the really sad thing is? The Ajax fans, most of them will be lovely, but as with any football fans, there's always a few standouts. There's going to be more trouble with them going on the piss watch pub
exactly.
than there would have been if they'd gone to the Orient game.
Exactly.
It's a lose-lose situation for everyone.
Because
At least the EFL, Leyton Orient.
because you know what some Chelsea fans are like, because they're stupid as hell. And
that applies to any football club. I'm
well,
afraid.
no, but mainly Chelsea.
No,
but,
it does. Those are the views of Craig Savage. It applies to any football club. I'm a Luton fan. There are some fucking idiots.
I know every football club has an idiot, but many are Chelsea fans. But you're gonna get aggro in the pub because some people most Chelsea fans disagree on everything. But
Yeah.
as you said, obviously to go and watch Leighton Orient, I think that would have been really nice. It would have created an atmosphere. But the EFL have fucked
I feel
up
like
again.
the slight recurring theme we've had throughout this episode for various different things is a lack of common sense, and I think that's what's being taken out of football. And normally, common sense brings enjoyment, and we seem to be taking a lot of that out, and therefore losing a lot of enjoyment. Really, really quickly, I've got two more things. One slightly bigger topic, but the first one I wanted to go through was, you know, the famous Marseille goalkeeper Steve Mandanda.
Yes. Formerly Crystal Palace for a year.
Yeah. So his youngest brother, Riffy, is going to make the unique record of being the third of three brothers to play for their national team. So, and what makes it unique about that is all three were goalkeepers. So you've got Steve, who's now 34, who had 30 caps for France and was part of their World Cup winning squad. Then you had his younger brother, let me get this right, Parfait. Now forgive me the pronunciation of that. Yeah. So he won 17 caps for the under 21s. Thank you very much. And now the youngest one, Riffy, has been named in the under-17 team, and he's plays for Boulogne, which is, I think, like a third division club in France. But all three have gone through the national system, and all three have been goalkeepers.
A nice story.
Nice story.
It is now time for our favourite quiz. Charlie's on the board after the last
Yes,
episode.
come on.
He's now just trailing by 8-1.
Yes.
And what is the quiz called, lads?
Can you name them?
That's right, I have no idea why they do it, but I'm going to ask you a simple question. So I'm going to ask you the question, ask you can you name them, and you're hopefully going to give me the answer.
So you're going to ask us a question.
I'm going to ask you the question,
And
can you name them?
We're going to name them.
That's the idea.
That's how it works.
So we're going for a little bit of a theme. Charlie obviously prefers the national ones because he can just take a stab in the dark.
Good.
And we've had some success in recent times with Iceland and Portugal players.
Fuck's sake.
So I've gone for a little bit of a different
Kazakhstan.
one today. Not quite Kazakhstan.
Uzbekistan.
I have gone, Craig Savage, you'll be pleased to know, for Hungary.
Oh, for God's
So
sake.
these are Hungarian players who played in the Premier League.
There are 10
Two.
There are 10 Hungarian players who have played in the Premier League. Now the reason I've chosen them is because all of them are in the 21st century, bar one. So I think you'll be able to have a bit more of an understanding. There are some cracking names on here, and at the end the ones you don't get are going to be brilliant. But I think
I've got one.
I think we're going to have a bit of fun here, and a bit like the Icelandic one's going to frustrate you.
Right.
So Craig and Charlie, can you name some of the Hungarian players that have played in the Premier League? Now, based on the fact we've had 9 episodes, I believe it will then be Charlie's go to go first. So Charlie,
I think I'm
can
going
you
to have to
name
go
them?
with the only one I know, which I think is Zoltan Gira.
Zoltan Gira, Charlie, is a correct answer. Obviously played for both West Brom and Fulham, both famously in that runs the Europa League final.
Not for West Brom, though.
Not for West Brom.
I'll go for the legend that is Gabor Kiraly.
So the reason I picked the quiz, as you probably know, the man
Mr.
I have
Grey
spent my
Tracky.
whole Sunday League career imitating, Gabor Kiraly of Crystal Palace and Villa.
I think
fame.
I don't know if he is, but I've only got one more player after this.
So we've now named 2 out of 10.
2.
We've got 7 more from the 21st century, Charlie. So can you name me another one?
I don't know if he's Hungarian. Though.
I know when it's a good quiz when I get all these sort of sounds out of you.
This is I'm going completely on names now. This is a complete stab in the dark, I think.
Just guess, mate, because I'm probably with you.
I'm trying to think who I might have played on FIFA or Pro Evo who's Hungarian.
Did you say only one player's not in this one?
One player not from the 21st century, and there's a West Ham name in there. It's brief, but he's 21st century.
Oh, this quiz is brief.
I'm going to have. It will be. I'm going to have to.
I'm going to go on name Igor Bishkan.
I'm afraid not. He was Croatian.
Was it?
I heard Igor and went Hungarian.
Obviously a Liverpool flop. So Craig, you have the chance to win it. I'm sure you'll be able to name off 1 or 2 of these names. So can you name one for me?
I've got 2, and I don't know if they're actually Hungarian. I'm going for the old school player. I'm going to go for proper old school. The only non-21st century player, Sasha Kurtic.
And can you give me the other one you had in your mind?
Lukas Mijovic.
So you'll be pleased to know that neither of those are Hungarian. So
Oh, fantastic!
Oh fuck! Right. Oh okay.
I don't know then. I'm out.
Right. Hang on.
Hungarian.
I don't need to get one now, don't I?
in fact, of the players remaining, the most recent one to play in the Premier League is the goalkeeper that's remaining.
Oh no!
There's some great sounds here, but
No.
Charlie is looking like
No,
he is
he's
a kid lost in a Toy Story.
But
Charlie Betts, can you please give me an answer?
I can't, so I am going to go for...
This could be racist.
No, it's not racist. No. Stigbjorn Bjarnaby.
No,
He's
no,
Norwegian.
No.
Luka Milivojevic is Serbian.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
He's an active international.
Craig, come on, you've got to do it, otherwise this actually becomes a
This could be
draw.
a
This
draw.
could go on forever.
This could be a draw because I'm absolutely stunned.
If you both get 3 wrong answers in a row, we will go to a tiebreak.
Okay, right.
How's the tiebreaker going to work? We've both got 3 answers wrong.
Don't worry.
Craig, I'm going to have to press you for an answer, I'm afraid.
Shut up. Ooh.
I'm going to give you one more chance to fling a name in the hat, Charlie.
So,
I saw in Tosic, but
he's not. This is not my answer. For a second, I thought Marian Pahals was Hungarian.
Oh!
Latvian.
But he's not, exactly. I'm going to guess he's not. I think he might be Mexican, but I'm going to go for Ilan, who used to play for West Ham.
He is Mexican.
He is Mexican.
I'm afraid not, Charlie. So we'll call that one a draw.
Yeah,
A
we didn't get
spectacular
anywhere
failure.
close.
Would you like me to rattle through the other names so I can put you into misery?
Yeah, please.
The most recent one, which was one of the other goalkeepers, is Adam Bogdan.
Oh,
Bolton and Liverpool number 3.
He is rubbish.
Never would have thought he was Hungarian.
He is
Never
rubbish.
The other goalkeeper played for 3 Premier League clubs. Unfortunately, passed away at a young age. Martin Fulop, Sunderland, had that little spell at Manchester City when they ran out of goalkeepers, and West Bromwich Albion.
Didn't know he was Hungarian.
Next one, the Hungarian wizard, Akos Buzaki at QPR.
Oh shit! Wouldn't have got that.
Next on the list, Hull left winger. Anyone want to go for it? Peter Halmosey. We've had him on
Peter
Pro
Halmosey.
Evolution Soccer plenty of times.
Plymouth? You played for Plymouth?
He did play for Plymouth. Then he went to Hull and then they came up with Phil
I
Brown.
never would have got that one.
I haven't got any clubs.
The one from the 90s, who only featured in the first ever Premier League season for
Oh,
Liverpool, Istvan Kozma. Never
No,
heard of him.
never would have got that. No.
Are you telling us to get that one?
No. West Ham centre half. He joined half a year at quite experienced. Was a player called Peter Carus. He only made 2 league appearances.
There you go.
Never
That's
would've
it
got
there.
He came along as a backup cover.
Was
at
he
some
Harry
point.
Redknapp sign?
No idea. And then the last two of the most bang average strikers you'll ever get. Former Watford player, played for Ipswich in the lower leagues as well.
Helgeson?
No, not Heine Helgeson. He is not. He was in the Iceland.
Oh, yeah.
Tamas Priskin.
Oh,
yeah.
Portsmouth.
Never would have got
And then
that.
the final one, the 1 season wonder with Crystal Palace, made a few appearances alongside Andy Johnson in that famous 04-05 season.
Todorov.
Sandor Torgelli.
Oh, Torgelli!
Really? That doesn't sound like a Hungarian name.
Oh, wow.
I'm afraid it is, Craig.
That was very good.
What a farce.
So it's a quiz that none of you knew the answer to, which is exactly what we were going for, and I'm afraid that
I think
neither
you've
of
gone
you
a bit too hard
have
now.
managed to score any points. I thought that was going to be easier than the Icelandic
What do you think that was
one.
going to be easy?
Easier than the Icelandic one, but you have let me down, and your football knowledge is appalling.
And that is it for today's Ramble. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe if you're on YouTube. You can also check us out on Spotify. And don't forget, we've got a new series of My Favourite Game. Check that out. It's fantastic. And we'll see you next time.